words, he's good in meetings, and he will have gone round each of the players, make sure they're on message, but sometimes just that different voice and that ability to create a spark somewhere. And we'll be seeing whether a week's long enough for him to have had an impact.
Tom Foley, the man with the whistle. Packed house. Welford Road holds its breath. It was the Chiefs, remember, that battered the Tigers on the opening day back in September, and it triggered Matt O'Connor's sacking. It led us to this point. George Ford begins for Leicester. Not taken clean by the Chiefs. Woodburn tidying up on the 22. He's been in excellent form over the last few matches. Nick White organising the exit strategy. To the air he goes. Chasing forwards is Tamua, who's taken that well, but he's very well met in a rather unfamiliar position of fullback this afternoon. Hasn't played there really since his more youthful days. Harrison at 9, Ford onwards now to Spencer. Good urgency to the Leicester operation here, ball in hand. Up it goes from Ford. Cordero waiting. Slips clear of Oluwafela and of Eastman, gets it away to Noel. Cracking defensive effort here from Leicester, pinning Exeter on that 22. Cordero, he of the twinkling feet, away to Woodburn. Trying to mix it with Johnny May, who brings his man down.
Let go.
Ewers.
Let's go.
Simmons. Slade. Slips past the challenge of Genge, gets the ball away to Cordero. Just watch those boots carefully. Noel again. Somehow, the trademark Noel tackle bust over the 10-metre line. Progress being made here by Exeter. Kvesic, Simmons, Slade. Quick hands for Devotee. Space on the outside potentially. Cordero, Woodburn. Wonderful from Exeter. They're inside the 22. And Devotee's trying to steal another metre or so. And touch is found. Breathless opening, Topsy.
He's already over the line.
To start, both teams looking to move the ball. Expect to see Exeter's attacking phase, what we just saw. That's going to be a feature of the game going forwards. They look to get Jack Noel, Ollie Woodburn and Santi Cordero on the ball as much as possible. They're basically patrolling those 15-metre lines, and with the way Exeter's shape is pulling Leicester's defence, they're so deep that Leicester can't get to them, and they're getting space on the edges and causing huge trouble already.
Scrutiny here on the Tigers' line out. It's functioned nicely. Ben Spencer leaping highest. Harrison, who's going to have a busy last few weeks with the news today of Ben Young's shoulder operation, which will keep him out for the remainder of the campaign. Back it comes for Ford.
Outside.
And an excellent clearance kick.
Move the line then, Tigers, please.
Great kick there by George Ford, just to relieve a bit of the pressure, but this is exactly what Exeter want now. They're going to monopolise the ball, they're going to go through the phases, so it's really important that Leicester's defence stands up now.
Yendall picks out Lonsdale. Kvesic trying to batter away through Ford. White picked up by Devotee, held back for Simmons, and Woodburn wrestling through the tackle of Eastman. Good line speed, epitomised by Mike Williams that time. It was a feature actually that was lacking in the East Midlands derby the other day here. That was off the fingertips of Simmons, but tidied up well by Slade. Back to the open side they come. Noel searching for an opening. This time no way through Eastman. Both sides playing at a fair old lick here. This is Armand. The ball away somehow or other. Slade again. Simmons darting back into the traffic, swallowed up by Dan Cole.
Leicester doing really well in this defensive set at the moment. They're just forcing Exeter back at the moment. Exeter being patient, looking to hold on to the ball. Leicester need to do exactly the same. Don't get silly, don't come out of the line, hold your shape and force the Chiefs to either give up a penalty or give up possession.
Hepburn going to ground, and it's White who eventually decides to use the boot. Oluwafela is hit hard by Kovacic, straight to his feet to compete.
Eastman does so well there, because brilliant from Kovacic to rebound, get over the ball. Eastman did enough to clear him out, and Leicester win the penalty as a result.
Leicester players on his feet, first of all, it's a good turnover. No, you took the ball.
Ben, you've been having a look at Manitou Alangi defensively.
You've got Devotee and Slade in the midfield, so two playmakers. If you cut in, it means you can't recover to get back to the outside channel. That means the players on your inside have to drop underneath. They become totally ineffective, and you're going to lose a lot of metres on the outside if you do come back and make the tackle. So let Manitou Alangi just has to bide his time. He wants to make those impactful hits, but against two guys with such sharp handling in midfield, he has to pick and choose his moment and make sure he gets man and ball.
You can just see him. Obviously, he's had a lot of game time under his belt this season, which is fantastic for all of us. But he just gets a little overexcited at times defensively. Here they are, though, in the attack, and Harrison is trying to release O'Connor up the middle. Quick ball to work with. Ford massaging the defences. Oluwafela stopped in his tracks. Harrison, he clung on to that just about, Spencer. Ford, Eastman over the top, it goes to O'Connor in space. Noel got sucked in. Brendan O'Connor.
No, you step back.
Harrison, Kitchener straightens. Chiefs under pressure. Penalty, Exeter.
It's a great recovery by Exeter there. It was a beautiful ball, Kyle Eastman going over the top to find some space on the edge. But as they do, once they get into that 22, they're very good at getting over the ball and effecting the turnover there.
It was a lovely ball for O'Connor, who is rather more used to spending time in the tight confines around the fringes of the ruck. And the pressure valve is released.
It is, but that will certainly have been a big benefit to Leicester, just give them their first real attacking threat in the game. Give everyone a lift, that there are opportunities out there.
You just feel that confidence, that belief is everything to them right now. Ball's picked out by Atkins nicely. White floats it across the face of the defence, and Simmons has taken a hammering as he fell. Caught the leg of Eastman.
Get out, leave it now. Ball is there.
Hepburn. What a tussle we have in the front row this afternoon. Genge, Youngs and Cole against Hepburn, Yendall and Williams. Noel sets this one up. Here's Kovacic. White again with quick ball. Simmons for Cordero, whips it away. Ewers taking on Eastman's, who stands his ground. Assistance coming in there from Spencer. Devotee busts through one, gets the ball away. Slade looking for the outside arc. Atkins picked up by Williams this time. Kovacic through the middle of the ruck. Big hole there.
Committed, Tom.
Committed, yeah, thank you.
Noel.
Good work there.
Yendall inside the 22 once more. White. Devotee hard and straight. Again, it's Spencer making the tackle. Ewers. This is the possession and the territory game the Chiefs like to employ. Slade. Simmons. Noel. Smothered this time. Threat snuffed out for now, but only for now, because charging forward is Kovacic. He stayed on his feet, and he's touched down a little nearer to the posts, and Exeter have the first try of the game.
It's that Exeter Chiefs pressure that we all know. We see it week in, week out about how they just build through the phases, start to squeeze teams, start to put the pressure on. They're always looking up, always looking for where the space is, and in the end, it's Matt Kovacic who had a couple of telling moments in that set, just sneaking down the blind side. It's a brilliant finish as well. To stay in touch, to beat 2-3 men, and then to bring it closer to the post as well. It's great work.
It's just Leicester not getting their numbers sorted out on that blind side.
Just to let you know, no, it's fine.
And an easy opportunity that still took some finishing because of the cover defence, but the initial break far too easy to give up for Leicester. Really smart spot from Kovacic. Good communication to White that the opportunity was on.
I think the damage was actually done a lot earlier in the phase, probably going back to your point, Ben, about how Exeter's attacking shape pulls the Leicester defence out. They created the exact same scenario. Tuilagi didn't come in this time, but there was just enough indecision that the space was there, they got the offload away, and they still made the meters on the outside. So I think that's going to be an issue that Leicester are going to have to address, because Exeter's shape is designed to pull them out, but that they're deep enough that they can't make those man and ball tackles.
Comfortable first strike from the tee for Simmons. Exeter 7 points in front, and the game being played at breakneck speed.
It has. It's been 100 miles an hour from the word go. Both teams really looking to play with the ball in hand, looking to move the ball. We know Exeter like a high phase count, and it just showed with that try. They're willing to go 15, 20 phases to get the score, and they'll just break you down and wear you down.
7th Premiership try of the season for Matt Kovacic. Cordero evades the tackle of one, but then he's snared by Tom Youngs. Cordero off to Bordeaux next season. One of the few who Rob Baxter hasn't managed to hang on to. White, good pressure on the kick from Spencer, really putting himself about in these early exchanges. Harrison drops on it for Leicester. Genges over the ball, and Johnny May plays 9. This is Kitchener.
Knock on advantage over.
Harrison dug through, up the touchline, and waiting there is Simmons. Scragged well by O'Connor.
No, don't wait, no. Come on. Let's take him back in.
Johnny May, so secure under the high ball, he spotted half a gap and he's off. Very good tackle from Atkins to stop him. Quick ball here for the Tigers. George Ford via a deflection, touch found.
Yeah, just what I was talking about, Leicester and numbering up. If you look here, they've got Kitchener. Here we go.
7 man.
They've got Kitchener there on one side, they've got O'Connor coming in, but O'Connor's not aware of the fact that Kovacic's on the other side. That means they have to dive in with Harrison, create the gap on the outside. It's just simple numbering up.
Straight over the top of the line out, Tuilagi crashing over the 22. Here's George Ford stuttering his way forwards. Again, it's Atkins with the tackle, assisted by Ewers. But Leicester looking to build. So much more purpose to their attack in this opening quarter of an hour or so. And here is Genge on the loose, having a second stab at it as well. Ford, Tuilagi, stopped at source.
Good.
Harrison looking for that short pop, and Youngs is making headway inside the 22. Again, Harrison is there. Spencer popping up everywhere. Ford holds that back for Tamua. Continued by Tuilagi. Tamua, white shirts everywhere.
Just
Votto
took
quickly
the wrong
onto
option,
it.
didn't they? Came down the wrong side. Outnumbered by defensive shirts.
Spencer once more crashes upfield. Genge looking to go the scenic route. And they're being bundled backwards at the moment. Plenty of time in possession here for Leicester. Ford did well, created some space. Lovely ball from Tamua. Was that forward? Oliver Feller's on his way. Clattered in the tackle. Might need a second look at that challenge as well on Oliver Feller, as the Tigers are within 5 metres.
Got an overlap down this left-hand side. They go the wrong way.
Spencer. Harrison again, poised over it. Welford Road in full-throated roar.
Use it! Advantage, penalty.
Penalty has come Leicester's way. Crawling forwards.
Yeah, just Kovacic trying to slow it down.
That's why I can't say advantage.
Holds Mike Fitzgerald, who's trying to pick and go.
Off your feet, pulling the man in.
But Oliver Failer here, he pointed, he wanted to drift on the pass. Tamur, one of the best in the business at exploiting that. And then good footwork, just gets clattered. Nothing in that, he's committed to the tackle. And then the patience is good from Leicester.
Well, they killed it once, and then the ball went, and then the ball had already.
Brilliant play, and actually, we haven't talked much about Matt Tamur at 15, a position we're not used to seeing him in, but that's probably where he's going to be most effective. Taking a bit of the ball, playing pressure off George Ford, distributing, getting the ball into Oliver Feller's hand, into Johnny May's hand as well in those channels, because we've seen it 2 or 3 times already. The wingers are just biting in a bit and then leaving that space, so if Leicester can just be a bit patient, stay organised, there's space there for them to exploit.
First points of the afternoon for Leicester.
Well, very similar to that last pass from Tamua, something that happened earlier with Eastman. It's how Exeter are defending. They make a hammer call, which means they all jam in, which means if you can spot it, there is space out the back to go over the top, and Jack Knoll stuck on his own. It's very difficult for him to recover. Leicester gets the metres, but twice now Leicester have broken down this left touchline with Jack Knoll stepping in on the outside.
Mike Ford studying carefully, but Chiefs intent inside the 22 again. Harry Williams is there. Quick ball for White to work with. Slade combining with Atkins. Runs into Tuolangi, who's up to compete for the ball. Kovacic, try scorer. Bundled backwards, but it's there for Simmons. Little show. Brought down by Fitzgerald. The offside line has been breached here by Leicester.
Penalty advantage, not onside, never onside.
Cordero feeds Hepburn. Kovacic's on his way again. Williams, lovely interplay between forwards and backs. Noel rummaging his way through somehow or other, stepping left and right and offloading. Wonderful bit of work from Jack Noel. And he's there again to continue the motion.
No!
Is he not held in the tackle? The penalty is Exeter's.
14 metres in.
Well, he's got a priceless ability to break the tackle, hasn't he, Jack Noel?
He does. It's one of his many enduring qualities. He never knows when he's tackled, and you think you've got him. He wriggles away. Even if he does get tackled, the ball goes down. He's up. He picks it up, and he goes again. He doesn't know when he's stopped, and those little inches just make a massive difference to getting Exeter ahead of the gain line and on the front foot.
It's the offside against Fitzgerald. He'll say that he retreated. The referee said you were never onside. Gives Exeter a shot. They go to the corner, as we so often see. But just Jack Knoll, it's his ability to stop and then accelerate again. So when he stops, he becomes much more difficult to tackle because he's got no momentum. He's got nothing that you can use against him. And then once he's beaten you, he goes again. But there's a spillage from Exeter in the lineup.
Yeah, spilt by Armand. A rarity indeed, and the Leicester Tigers are trying to make the most of it here.
Use it!
Harrison clears from danger, and the relief is palpable because they know, all the way around this stadium, they know just how ruthless Exeter usually are from that sort of position.
They do. That's a big moment, and they're going to need more than that throughout the game, just to lift the crowd, get their voices up, because we know that's one of the chief specialities. So great result for Leicester. We need more of the same.
Another penalty advantage being played here. Leicester come offside again.
It's George Ford trying to race up and catch man and ball.
Is this part and parcel, Ben, of the what we talked about a little bit earlier about there was a distinct lack of line speed in the East Midlands derby. It was very noticeable that day. There's obviously been an extra purpose to the way the Tigers have been playing today, but when you have an extra purpose, an extra energy, sometimes you can be a little over-keen.
Yeah, potentially. I think different sides. Northampton have been playing very wide, very early in the game, which takes a bit of your line speed out, but you know when you play against Exeter Chiefs, you can't give them any momentum. Otherwise, that's how they get their forwards into the game with that pick-and-go game.
Lovely ball this time from Atkins, and again Exeter are heading forwards via Votto. They're within 4 metres. And there are white shirts streaming forwards. Options everywhere here for Nick White.
Good.
Harry Williams with the latest surge from the base of the ruck. The power game being brought to bear. Lonsdale.
Push back, guys!
They'll be as patient as they need to be. Prove themselves time and again in this sort of position. Dave Ewers, the latest on the charge. Hepburn. Some fine defensive work here from Leicester. Atkins gets it away to Kovacic. They're being forced backwards here. White for Ewers. So far, that line can't be punctured. Yendall wriggling forwards. Kitchener holds him, he's over the line. And that is a crushing blow for Leicester, who have been doing such sterling defensive work, but somehow or other, Chiefs have found a way. And Jack Yendall, captain today, notches the Chiefs' second.
It's just his ability to stay on the feet. Fitzgerald goes really low, tries to axe him at the knees, but he just rides that challenge, puts his hand down. No one's holding on to him on the ground. So although he's been brought down, it wasn't a tackle. His knee goes to ground, but no one holding him as that knee touches the ground. So he's entitled to get back to his feet and just keep those legs pumping.
Just an awareness in the last line out.
Leicester be really disappointed as well. They've been done so well up until that point. The line was intact, they were making their tackles, and as is always the case, it takes one missed tackle, doesn't quite finish it off. Yandel fully entitled to get back up onto his feet, crawls his way to the try line.
Very efficient, very effective. Exeter leading by 14 points to 3 now.
It's just important now for Leicester to not panic. There's a lot of minutes left in this game, a lot of rugby left to be played, and with the position they're in now, it's very easy for confidence and morale to dip. They need to keep fighting. So they know they can score points, they know they can create pace and put Exeter under pressure, so it's just about staying in that now, believing that they get one score, they're right back in this game.
Back into the 22.
Simmons. Yendall, emboldened by the tries, throwing the dummy deep inside the 22. Amazing what confidence does for you.
He was selling it, no one was buying it.
Just make sure you start inside, Will.
Sold with confidence, though. That's the main thing,
Use
isn't it?
it!
The belief that it might have worked. White. Testing out Johnny May. Aerial work of his now, almost second to none in World Rugby. Harrison, Ford. That's high on Fitzgerald. The advantage being played, and Ford is away, charging through the hole. He's got Harrison inside it. Maybe he won't need him. George Ford is short, just a little short. Plenty of men to the left if they need it. Chiefs reassembling in a hurry. What a burst!
Right, they go wide right. They go wide right. They'll walk it in.
They go wide enough. That's Tamua, and it's massive, and it's a try for Johnny May. Welford Road delirious. Set up by Ford, finished by May with that wonder pass in the middle. And now tempers flaring.
Up you get! Take him away, Tom. Take him away.
Well, that was just fabulous footwork from Ford and vision too, Topsy.
It's brilliant running, and especially off the free ball as well. You just don't want it kicked away. They need something positive to hold on to, and we spoke about leaders standing up and taking this team forward. George Ford with the break, Matt Tamua with the NFL quarterback pass to the corner, and Johnny May does what he does and finishes it off. It's a beautiful try and just what Leicester needed.
How big's that
I'll speak
pass?
to him on the way back. Just needs to stop, nobody else
Big enough.
And the after's all a little unnecessary.
I'll speak to him on the way back. Just nobody else gets involved, George, okay?
Really achieving a great deal.
Tom,
the Tigers will really feel
this, mate. The actions at 13 green.
They have achieved a great deal, but we are going to have another look here on the recommendation of our TMO, Jeff Warren.
Okay, Jeff, I'm see the screen now.
And Manu Tuolangi is the man who's been singled out. Something and nothing at that stage, and then Kvesic arrives. Manu Tuolangi sticks the ball in his face, and then is there a punch thrown?
There's a punch throw, but he certainly wraps his arm around his face and sort of throws him away. Yeah, you see arm headlock there and rolls him away.
Yeah, so, right, give me a second. And then White 7 the Bolton as well.
Yeah, this shot might be an interesting one.
That's some tough defence after the restart, so it'd be a penalty.
Johnny May and Nick White involved in the initial scuffle.
Kvesic inflames things as well by coming in, doesn't he? So
Manu
there's a couple
well
of players that might just need a little chat here. And
Yep, there is a conversation to be had.
Matt as well, please.
Matt Kvesic is being summoned to the headmaster's study.
Right.
You hope for Leicester's sake, that's all it
Right,
is.
this game so far doesn't warrant this. It's been a really positive game, all right? Firstly, you can't get involved. Secondly, you can't react, OK? So the try will stand because after the try...
All fronts here.
Time on, please.
It looks that way, but we'll see the next time those two face off each other. We'll see if it's as friendly as that handshake.
Well, emotions are running high, and it matters so much to each of these sides. You can tell from the intent in their play, and just occasionally it bubbles beyond it. Given that a really good thump. It's a wonderful kick from George Ford, who of course set it all up there.
well, an immediate impact from George Ford. Look here, there's a huge gap there between Atkins and Ewers. And because Ewers goes too far forward, it increases the gap. Ford spots it, steps back on the inside, then drifts out again to get away from Atkins. Big impact from Leicester's England fly half, and he gets the conversion. But because of the afters, Exeter are going to start with a penalty instead of a kickoff.
And it's Henry Slade in familiar position, looking to put this deep inside the 22. He's sent it pretty deep, but it is probably worth mentioning that he gave it a good hoof from about 4 metres beyond the halfway line, Topsy.
I think the crowd definitely gave it away, and he's got away with that one. A good 4 or 5 metres ahead of the mark, but Exeter won't complain. They've got a line out 8 metres out from the try line. Look at this here.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
That's
You've got
naughty.
a line to tell you.
So the Chiefs looking for a third try.
Good contest,
Atkins is
Liam.
gathered in. Last time they were this close, it was spilled. White, Simmons, Noel, Cordero. Woodburn on the outside. Here is Woodburn battering forwards. In he goes. Clinical finishing from Ollie Woodburn. And Exeter bouncing straight back.
It's a wonderful finish from Ollie Woodburn and a brilliant response to conceding a try. You get the penalty, you kick it straight into the corner. First face starter, look at this. Dummy runners, gets the ball to Cordero. He's got a lot of work to do here, Woodburn. Tamu will be disappointed with that one-on-one tackle, but it's a brilliant finish. Let's take nothing away.
Defensively, there's nothing wrong with the system. Everyone numbers up. They don't get committed in. Tuolangi doesn't bite in. They all drift. They create the one-on-one tackle. It just gets missed in the corner. Maybe Tamua could have gone slightly earlier with the pace of May on his inside, but that's Santi Cordero. You don't want to give him any extra space, but still he'll be gutted to have missed that.
Yeah, those Argentinian feet freeing up just enough room for Ollie Woodburn, who doesn't need much. Try number 3 for Exeter. Well, there's some very high-class kicking this afternoon here at Welford Road. That's the latest from Joe Simmons. And Woodburn, who's in something of a purple patch at the moment, nailing this one down in the corner.
It is, and it's all perfect from a Leicester point of view. To that moment, everybody's man on, everybody is in the right position. It's just a one-on-one missed tackle, and you give Woodburn an inch of space, and he's finishing in the corner.
Armand gathering the restart, brought down by Harrison.
Use it!
Plenty to encourage the Leicester faithful, though, here this afternoon. Little doubt about that, playing with real purpose.
I think from a Leicester perspective, it's about keeping Exeter out of their own red zone, because every time Exeter have been down there, they've looked lethal. Outside of there, they haven't looked too bad, but silly penalties given away that give them field position is going to kill Leicester today.
Picked up low down by Ford. This is O'Connor. Slightly unfamiliar role at number 8 today. This is Eastman's. Battering his way into Devotee and knocked forwards, and the Chiefs are celebrating. So let's bring in Anthony Allen, part of the Leicester Tigers setup. And what's your take on the opening half hour or so?
Some really positive stuff when we had the ball in hand, a little bit ill-disciplined, and that's giving Exeter all their territory, and to be fair to them, they're capitalising on it.
And Ben was just mentioning a moment or two ago, how on earth do you keep them out of that 22? Because when they're in there, Chiefs are making full value for it, aren't they?
I think first and foremost we want to make it really difficult for them to get into there at the moment. Obviously the discipline, Slade puts a great kick from the halfway straight, 6-7 metres out from our line, and that's easily getting them easily into our 22, so that discipline is going to be key.
And in terms of what you are conjuring in attack, it looks to be a lot more purposeful, a lot more intent today from the Tigers.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's about wanting the ball, expecting the ball, and 40 and the backs, pulling the strings in the right areas.
And thanks for your time.
No problem, cheers.
Kovacic from the base. There's Noel popping up on the outside shoulder. It's gone forwards, and here's O'Connor with the Leicester counter-attack. Tuolangi brought down on halfway. Kitchener, crowd baying for an offside decision. Eastman's intercepted by Noel, and Noel's away. All kinds of bodies in all sorts of places when the Eastman pass was thrown. Ewers, Cordero, Simmons, wide again they go. This is Armand. Oh, what an offload that was, and Woodburn is steaming towards the try line again. It's Henry Slade on the occasion of his 100th Premiership appearance. That was magic from Exeter.
There you are. You've just got to applaud some brilliant rugby. The offload from Don Armand is outstanding, and Ollie Woodburn again, 2 unbelievable offloads to create this try. And how ruthless are this team? They're just any sniff of a try they get, they're so clinical.
That's another simple missed tackle for Leicester, isn't it? Tuolangi this time on the same touchline against the same player. And once they're in behind, Leicester have run out of numbers. Johnny May loses himself in the tackle, quite rightly so. But the pace of O'Connor against Slade isn't a match, so as soon as that tackle's missed by Tuolangi, Leicester were always going to be in trouble.
And that's the bonus point for the Exeter Chiefs. Wrapped up inside 32 minutes. And a day to remember for Henry Slade for a couple of different reasons now. It's been a fine season for the Exeter centre. Really found his feet at international level. Ali Heifer and Rob Baxter always knew they had a big talent on their hands, but he's making good on all of that now.
He is. He's come alive this season. You know, it's been a defining season for him. He's been on this upward curve for a few years now, and I think this season we've really seen the fruits of those years of hard work, and he's just flourishing every time he's on the pitch.
2 more points from Joe Simmons, 28 points to 10. And this, the best of the lot so far today.
But it's the ruthlessness as well. You know, Leicester had the opportunity. The ball didn't go over the top of Noel this time. Not as accurate a pass from Eastman. And instantly, Leicester's inaccuracy turned on its head with some ruthless finishing from the Chiefs.
Cordero bundled by May.
No hands!
How quick is this match being played?
It's flown by, to be fair, but we've had a brilliant game.
Use it!
Again, good pressure from Will Spencer, but White got it away. Tamua safe under the high ball. First Premiership start at fullback. This is Genge. Harrison. Ford. Fitzgerald. Good tackle from Lonsdale. It's there though again for the Tigers, and Ford is bustling his way through the middle, leaves it hanging, picked up by Harrison. Johnny May digging for it. Ford for Spencer. Yendall part of the welcoming committee that time. Ford again. Looking to release Genge off the deck, but lost. Gathered up by Armand, and Devotee is now moving forwards.
He's never on the ball.
It's been a mighty impressive first half so far
Take him
from
back.
Exeter.
Use it!
They've had to absorb an awful lot. They've rolled with the punches.
Take him back in.
And they've taken their opportunities with real ruthlessness. Forward again, brought down by Woodburn, keeps it alive. Mike Williams. Spencer, Ford, Tamua just had to check his run a little bit. Space now for Eastman, that was knocked out of his hand potentially. This is May. Ford again, looking for that inside channel. Oh, he's worked a wonder there. Oliver Fella inside the 22. The ball was waiting to be delivered to the outside.
Oh,
Spencer
Knowles
was
dived through
there.
there. That's a yellow card. He was even warned to stop competing, and then after that he dived right through. You can't dive through a ruck and slap the ball out of the hands of the person playing in the scrum-half position.
Well,
should that have been 7 points? Spencer on the shoulder of Oluwafela.
I think you're right, Ben. It probably should have been. Easy decision. He's done all the hard work, tracking on the inside of George Ford, and then he gives Spencer. Even if
to be fair, he might have known that he was about to get shot.
He was so unhappy at not being given the scoring pass that he decided to fall over. And there's Knowles' activities, which were right under the nose of Tom Foley. Nice line break from Oluwafela, but Ford, as ever, the matador at the gain line.
He's carrying his team a bit at the moment, isn't he, George Ford? His pass selection's been outstanding, his breaks. Just needs a bit of accuracy from those around him.
Chiseling away. A common theme this season for the highest point scorer in the Gallagher Premiership, but too often fighting rather a lone war. 28 points to 13. 3.5 minutes to the break.
Play on, backwards off White.
Tap back from Woodburn. Picked up by Nick White.
Good contest.
Chiefs hungry for more, with half-time bearing down on us.
Rock. No hands.
Woodburn for Ewers. Exeter playing with 14. A monstrous hit from Will Spencer, that one. Yendall, one of the 4 try scorers
No, second ball.
for Exeter, and that
First time you're
was
okay,
just a little silly.
then he
O'Connor
lost the
knows
ball
it.
and played it on the floor.
It's a fair cop.
Just couldn't resist, could he? Couldn't resist. He had a first stab. Referee told him to leave it alone. He then goes back again. He can't complain. He's got to get out of there.
He knew,
First one was fine,
he
the
knew
second
as
one
he was doing it. And yet again, that has allowed
Thank you, Mike.
the Chiefs right into the red zone, 5 metres out, and another
It's the
another
quality,
awkward position to
quality of the
extricate
kick.
themselves from. Tigers.
Quality of the kick, bang on the line. So often we see those even 8, 9 metres out, and it makes it so much more difficult now. Get the delivery right, and you've every chance of going over.
Delivery is good.
Backwards off the
Atkins
line of touch.
sets up the maul.
They're a little bit high there, the Chiefs, but they'll go to their pick and go game.
Turnover. Well, huge credit to the Leicester defence, because that's twice now they scrambled from this situation. That is Exeter's go-to.
So
It
last
really
round,
is.
feet up, I'm going to tell him he needs to get his elbow up.
So to have thwarted it twice
Feet up.
is a real feather in the cap
Just told him
of
he needs to
the
get his
Leicester
feet up.
Tigers,
Just keep your elbow up.
even allowing for the scoreline.
Yeah, just a bit of
Could
both
prove
parts,
to be a
right?
big moment. If they'd have
Let's go,
conceded
guys,
just before half-time, the context of the conversation goes completely different. We know they're down on the scoreboard, but to hold out from this position to get to half-time, being a man up as well, just there's a bit of a different focus. They can regroup, regather their thoughts.
So the scrum, as we know, a real strong point for Leicester on their own foot-in. Just hasn't been quite providing them with the points on the board that they would like across the piece. Plenty of penalties coming their way. Here's a free kick taken by Harrison. Ford throws the dummy, sets off beyond the 22. He was hoping. Nick White got in the way just in the nick of time, and Tuolangi's trying to batter away forwards.
It's a good contest, there's no impact from 13.
Youngs, threw that to nobody in particular. George Ford mops it all up. And he's somehow evading the tacklers here. Williams, Tigers from inside their 22 showing real ambition. Whether that's well thought through or not, we'll find out shortly. This is Eastman.
It's fine to have ambition when it's on, but you don't just keep flogging a dead horse. If it's time to kick it out, it's time to kick it out.
Ford to Moore, over the top where there is space for Oluwafela.
As well there, Oluwafela, because that ball could easily have been ripped.
Ford again, just holding on to it for a minute. Atkins is high in the defensive line to Moore for Eastmans.
No.
Harrison to Moore. Ford thinks better of that decision, and with the clock in the red, is heading to the short side.
No lead!
Almost looked untouchable at times, George Ford, today, isn't he?
He's been brilliant for Leicester. He has carried his team. All the breaks, all the creativity, all the magic has come from him, and there's a clear message that Leicester aren't going to kick this ball out for half-time.
Swift hands from May to Tuolangi. There's an overlap here. Oluwafela doesn't want to back himself on the outside against Cordero. Brought down by Simmons. Penalty advantage to the Tigers. May for Genge. Harrison. Youngs, Spencer. It gets better and better from a Leicester perspective, this. And there's the penalty. A penalty for obstruction. Now then, Ben.
13
Decision
runs back across
time.
the tackle to prevent the clear out.
Points or corner?
It's a tough
13's
call,
run
maybe
back
where it
across
is on
the
the
tackle
field
to prevent
affects
the
that. If
clear
that's
out.
bang in front, you definitely take the points when they're on offer. Keep nibbling away at that lead, go in with guaranteed positive result from that break on their own line. But I think Ford might say, it's a little bit wide out, let's bang it into the corner, turn the screw.
Well, whenever teams don't take the points, the players say, you're just not feeling what we're feeling on the pitch. They will have felt that massive momentum swing. They've come a full 90 metres upfield. They want full value for this if they can possibly get it. Unfortunately, no, there is some bad news for the Tigers, though, because Kyle Eastman is hobbling his way to the touchline. He looks uncomfortable. So on in his place is Sam Aspland-Robinson. Can they find a try here, Leicester? It's looking very promising. O'Connor has stopped short.
Say again, Jack.
The arm is outstretched.
Yeah,
Harrison, Ford, Tamua. Crossfield kick looking for May. Gathers it well. And slips away. Just short of the line.
Back foot.
Tamua. Shepherds it. And Youngs is sent on his way. Youngs! A lifeline for Leicester. Just look what it means. Just listen to what it means.
Oh, what
There's
a way
life
to...
in this club, Topsy.
Sorry, what a way to end the half. I was going to say, like, less than a minute on the clock and Leicester have a scrum in their own 5 metre. You think they're just going to kick it out, and here we are, 100 metres up the pitch, and they're back in this game.
That's exceptional from Johnny May. That take over his head and then cut back in to keep the move alive. Penalty advantage anyway, so Tamua was entitled to roll the dice there. But what an intervention from his winger to rescue the move, and then also not to completely go for the try. Trust the fact that if you're on their line, you've got a good chance of scoring. Presented it back, didn't risk losing the ball. Big intervention from one of your England stars.
Yeah, that was high quality. And let's remember where this began. It began 5 metres out from their own try line. Leicester have gone the length with the clock deep in the red at the end of this first half. So much to commend that. Conversion is good. It's an 8-point buffer only. What a half of rugby. Tom Young's whipping up the crowd. Exeter already with the bonus point, but the Tigers snapping at their heels. Half-time at Welford Road, enthralling. Leicester 20, Exeter 28. Well, what a half of rugby we had. Exeter securing a bonus point inside 32 minutes. The Leicester Tigers fighting all the way deep into the red to claw their way back into this contest. If you want an omen, as a Leicester Tigers supporter, you might need to look no further than the Grand National result.
Okay.
Won by Tiger Roll.
Come on, please.
Back-to-back wins in the National for the first time since Red Rum in 1974. Can the Tigers resuscitate their Gallagher Premiership campaign here today against the league leaders?
Taken back.
Trying it on again from deep inside their 22. Tuolangi goes wide for Aspel and Robinson. On, remember, for Eastmond. And that yellow card ticking away as well for the Exeter Chiefs. Noel currently in the bin. Forward for Oluwafela. We're seeing some good stuff from Oluwafela in attack today. And the penalty here secured by the Chiefs. Latched over the ball, Jack Yendall. And for all the penetration in attack, Oluwafela unable to release, or refusing to release, in the eyes of Tom Foley, and 3 points on offer.
He so nearly gets away from that tackle as well. He's getting involved in the game more and more, but I think in almost making that break, he in turn gets himself isolated, and the Chiefs pounce all over him, and it's an easy 3 points if this goes over. And for all the momentum at the back end of the first half, Leicester would have wanted to be the first team to put points on the board in this second half.
It's a little bit instructive, and maybe they'd be taking the points anyway, given where it is on the field, but they were 28 points to 10 up at one point, and you suspect that even from that field position, they might have been tempted to tuck it into the corner at that stage. Now it's a different dynamic, the scoreline altogether different. And they recognise points might be at a premium come the 80-minute mark, potentially. There are three of them.
Just
Simmons.
wonder if Leicester's slightly risky strategy was down to the fact that Noel was still off the pitch with the yellow card, so perhaps Exeter marking with a couple of players from the back three in the backfield, there would have been a bit of space to run around them, but sometimes you have to almost take that chance but realise when it's not on and clear your lines.
Good challenge from Johnny May, but it has gone forwards from him, so a knock-on advantage being played. Here's Sean Lonsdale, met with force by Will Spencer, who is really putting himself about defensively today, carrying hard as well.
Use it! Advantage over.
White. Woodburn on the chase. Oluwafela arriving. That's gone forwards. Picked up by Kvesic. Opportunities here for the Chiefs. Armand. Devotee.
Tackle
and
made.
Henry Slade getting a bit of a tangle. Cordero, where's he off to? Nobody quite knows. It's Ewers and now Kvesic. Hepburn. Brought down by Dan Cole. White for Simmons. Slade at speed! Siding through Slade. George Ford to beat. He's going around the outside and delivers the scoring pass. It's Votto. But Henry Slade coming steaming through the middle. Nobody laid a finger on him. Votto the beneficiary.
It's a beautiful line by Henry Slade. We spoke about his influence in the first half, and you see usually he's fading on that pass, but this time he changes up to a short line, and the speed at which he comes through and then just lays it on a play for Devotee. It's brilliant play, and just the speed at which he changes his angle. Brendan O'Connor leaves him for dead. And then the finish on the end, Devotee in great support. It's a wonderful try, great play all round.
Well, it is a potent combination, isn't it, Devotee and Slade, and when he's in this sort of mood, he's such a silky runner, such a balanced runner, Topsy. He's a proper Rolls Royce, isn't he?
Absolutely, and he's developing to an all-round player as well. We know his abilities as a ball player, with ball in hand, with kicking as well, but he's added a bit of extra punch as well, so he can carry, he can get stuck in, he can do the dirty work, and I say, that ability to normally fade on that pass, to straighten up and hit a shorter line off that ball out the back. It's a brilliant change-up, and no wonder the defence couldn't handle it.
And Exeter once again assert their dominance. Slade with the break, Devotee with the finish. Lethal. Inside and outside. George Ford did well because he got to the ankles of Devotee, but it just wasn't quite enough. Try number 5 in the bag for Rob Baxter's men. We talked about their motivation ahead of today. Doesn't seem to be a problem, does it?
No, it might be that he had a lot of choice words for them at half-time. They started really well, got the bonus point, and then who knows, maybe they switched off a bit, thought the job is done, and allowed Leicester to come back into the game. So we spoke about taking the 3 points and maybe a more pragmatic approach. I think the message would be now, be ruthless, finish this game off, kill any hope Leicester have of making a comeback.
Oluwafela gathers. O'Connor, Ford in the traffic. Tuolangi with Devotee clinging on.
Pulled there, 12 wide was pulled there. He was pulled there.
Harrison, Cole, Youngs. Spencer.
Off feet!
Ford spotted acres of space in behind Cordero. And he'll chance his arm, will he? No, he'll go to the air. Brendan O'Connor, one of 3 Tigers in the backfields. Johnny May likes to look at the outside break, and he's nearly skipped through up to the 10-metre line.
Oh, let go.
Williams to Moore. Ford recognising there was trouble on the outside. Oluwafela again. And the penalty, that was a high tackle.
Okay.
Ben, you've been looking at the try.
Yeah, just having a look at Henry Slade hiding behind Jack Yendall. Just watch this. He's hidden there, all the eyes are on Yendall, and he's just going to run, accelerate straight into the gap that Spencer leaves. Absolutely brilliant disguise. It was the acceleration of Henry Slade that creates the try, but the fact that he timed his run to perfection, hid behind his big ball carrier. Spencer has to go there to make the hit, and he just steps out the shadows.
Slick, isn't it?
Very well designed, and like I say, that change-up, so the defender has to hold for the front-line runner, but the guy on his outside, if he doesn't see that ball player in behind, he needs to adjust a lot quicker, and if you don't see him, the speed that Henry Slade put on that ball when he hit it, there's just not enough time to react. So, like I say, usually that player out the back is fading onto the ball, he's looking to connect with guys outside him. On that occasion, Henry Slade changes up, he hits a harder, shorter line. It's almost an impossible reaction time for that defender on the outside if he doesn't see it earlier enough.
Change of front row for Exeter, and they're bringing on 3 internationals in Ben Moon, Luke Cowan-Dickie and Thomas Francis. That's the kind of depth that they have available to them these days. 9 years now since their promotion to the top flight, but they're on defensive duty once again because Ford is working his magic around the 22. Youngs.
Ford is working his magic, but he doesn't want to be going back inside all the time himself. He wants to stay on the feet.
Wide from Tamur to Asplund Robinson. Noel back on the field, of course, now, having served his time in the bin. Being a little bit more cautious at the breakdown, but look at that. Cowan-Dickie has come up with the ball.
No, I don't think so. Not in that situation. I don't agree.
First impact. He's barely been on the field a minute, Luke Cowan-Dickie. Terrific turnover.
Does so well to survive the clear out. I actually thought when I saw there's no way he could have won that legally. I've just watched the replay again. Unbelievable.
Halfway.
Slade.
Use the line, guys, please. Use the line.
How he uses Aspen Robinson's body to anchor himself in. He wraps his arm underneath the armpit. He holds on tight to the Leicester player, drags him with him and the ball, so that it becomes a bit more obvious.
Line out possession here for the Chiefs. Line out that didn't go well for the Tigers. Held back for Simmons, left that hanging for nobody in particular. And he's had to go back in to tidy it up. And a penalty. Johnny May is livid.
I think the Leicester fans just look at the angle of Cordero when he comes in to make the initial clear out. That's what they think the initial penalty's for. The referee doesn't spot that one.
Entry and there's a ruck form.
Let's have another look at it.
Cole tries to go past the ball as it becomes loose. Anchor in there. And then Cordero's already come in at that angle when Johnny May comes in. I don't think Johnny May agrees either.
No, so you form the ruck and then the ruck is never
Well, it's very difficult. He recognises more than most the kind of disciplinary situations that land them in trouble.
Over 15.
Kicks up to the 22 like that one, land them in trouble, potentially. Devotee working nicely with Simmons and Woodburn. Cordero.
He's just got brilliant feet.
It's box office, isn't it? Absolutely box office.
Because he makes the defender stationary. That's what he does with that footwork. And then he can accelerate away.
Here comes Slade again. Devotee had to check his run, but he's running hard into Ford. Brought down, though, by Harrison. It's there for White. Lonsdale. Another monster tackle from Spencer. Kvesic. Popped away very quickly. Simmons bringing in Cordero. How has he wriggled free? He's got it down too. That is some finish from Santiago Cordero. He's been bamboozling defenders all season, and he's just done it all over again at Welford Road.
Over 1,000 metres made, top defenders beaten in the Premiership, and like we say, he's definitely box office. Exeter do really well. That quick ball from the ruck creates the space on the outside, and they're just ruthless in exploiting that. And Cordero breaks the one tackle. Tom Youngs just can't quite get to him on that outside. Their numbers down anyway, so they're always in trouble. And Cordero dances his way to the line, and Chiefs have just completely taken charge of this game.
That had pretty much everything, didn't it? Had the dummy, the pirouette, the finish one-handed. Oh, they're going to miss him at Sandy Park, that's for sure. Next season when he heads to France. Simple finances, we understand. Just not quite enough in the kitty.
He's quite right.
But he's worth breaking the bank for.
Someone needs to write a check. Find some money and keep him here, because he has been absolute gold dust for Exeter this season. Brilliant signing, and what an impact he's had on this team.
6th try for the Exeter Chiefs. Simmons yet again is spot on from the tee, and that is the most points that Exeter have scored against Leicester in the Gallagher Premiership, as we see the end of Sam Harrison's day. Ben White is on in his place at scrum half.
Just so ruthless, isn't it? Yeah, that every time Leicester get any sort of momentum, when the ball gets wrestled back, the Chiefs just go through the gears.
As debuters, another one of the Exeter battering rams who, along with Don Armand, has been extremely unlucky not to taste some kind of international recognition recently. Armand, of course, with a handful of caps to his name, but wrapping up Aspen Robinson here, was that a little high? Tom Farley was right there, checking with the TMO as Williams moves forward. White, Ford, Tuolangi.
So it's just penalty advantage slipped up, yeah?
Penalty, yeah.
Penalty advantage now, having been confirmed.
Penalty advantage!
For the Tigers. Ford to Moore. Kick pass for Aspen Robinson, bang on the money.
slow ball.
Back they come for the
Started
penalty.
okay, slipped up.
Middle of the park.
Just looking at that try again from Cordero, just look at the decision-making of Leicester here. Both Genge and Cole, the game's fast, they've been doing their scrummage work. One of them has to go far side, if not both of them. But Cole goes in to try and compete, doesn't come up with anything. Genge stays on the open side. And the Chiefs have 3 of their quickest, most lethal finishers down that blind side against 2 defenders.
Chance for Tigers. Ford puts them in position. Issues the instructions. There's the numbers that back up everything we've been saying about Santi Cordero. Crazy numbers, really. Off comes Devotee, on comes Hill. Sam Hill, who's not had too many starting opportunities this season. Ben White is caught by Thomas Francis. Cole. Driven forwards.
No hands!
By Mike Williams. It's there for White. Ford to Alangi. We've dealt with him well, Exeter, for now. White again. Threatening around the fringes. Atkins has his number. He's then wiped out by Tom Youngs. I'm not sure how legal that was. Onwards we go. Ford, quick ball for Genge, who's barrelling forwards.
No hands! He's not with him.
Lonsdale had to stand in the way that time around. Ford goes wide. Tamua's out there. Woodburn to beat. Tamua! Yet another twist.
Yeah, mate, stop.
Tamua for Leicester. In the meantime, Atkins is down receiving treatment. And the challenge from Tom Youngs might need inspection.
You need to look at this clear out from the Leicester 2.
Didn't look good on first glance.
Is that on the player who's down here, yeah?
Yeah, the player that's down now.
Jack?
Here it comes. Oh, sorry, hang on.
Atkins making the tackle on Ben White initially, and then there to the right of your screen, the entry of Tom Youngs. Ben, your verdict?
Well, it's something that's becoming more prevalent in the game, isn't it, as players look to come in and clear out, but
So, Jeff,
just the angle that Atkins rolls at, he catches him his head and bends his neck in a funny direction.
Potential illegal clear out.
You just can't do that.
We can't, but it's unfortunately it's being allowed so much in the game that it's become the
Here it
norm
comes,
now.
Tom, here it comes.
Okay, so it's the one from the other end of the field, if possible, Jeff, so we can actually have a look at this contact point, because
Show the one.
so for me,
Absolutely
come
great. He
in,
could be in
just
serious
come
trouble
so
here.
his arm is clearly
Tom
cut.
Youngs.
It's not looking to grasp, so now we're just looking at a contact point to decide on the sanction.
I think that could be a red.
So the point, can we freeze
It's
it
right,
at the point
it's
of
right on the
contact
edge, isn't
then,
it? It's
please,
right on the
Jeff?
cusp.
Just coming.
Just let us deal with it, Don, please.
Before that.
That one, that's the one.
The language they're using now, it's where's the point of contact?
So for me, over the top of the head, and it's
There is
Shoulder and neck.
shoulder and neck, mate. Okay, so we're saying there's illegal contact with the neck. He's not made any attempt to grasp.
No.
He's
be
leaving me
red.
with very little option. So I'm thinking red card based
It's
on
going
that.
to be red for Youngs.
Are we all in agreement?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
So the try won't stand, there'll be a penalty here.
Cry won't like it. But if there is to be a change in the way players
you do,
operate,
Captain.
maybe this needs
Tom.
to happen.
No attempt to grasp. Your arm is down by your side. The contact has made contact with his head. You leave me with no option.
Tom Youngs dismissed. Tigers fans very unhappy, but the fact remains you can't do what he just did.
Well, you can't, but it's the lack of control that causes the problem, because players are doing this all the time. but because they're out of control and they're coming in at such pace and at such low angle, because Atkins rolls at the last minute, there's nothing that Youngs can do to stop his contact. It's absolutely a red card, but I think that the referees have to be stricter on a lot of the clear-outs that we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, we'll be going. I'll give you the mark. Step back. Penalty.
So Ollie Atkins has headed off for a head injury assessment, as you might understand. Leicester now down to 14. And that's extraordinary from Johnny May. Oliver Feller. Caught by Francis. Toby Salmon on in the second row for Exeter as Tuolangi tries to find a pathway through. Kvesic is in over the top of the ball, and he's just done enough, surviving some fearful contact of his own and coming up with the penalty.
Leicester really just need to take a moment now to regroup. I mean, we could debate the Tom Youngs red card. I think by the letter of the law, the referees are correct in sending him off into what they're looking for. They're looking for force of contact and where that point of impact is. If it's neck and head, it's going to be a red card. He's unfortunate in the way Atkins is rolling, but like Ben says, I think we have to zero tolerance this if we're going to really get changes in behaviours and more consistent decision-making across the board.
But equally, I mean, this is brilliant from Kvesic. Equally, we have to make sure, and I'm not saying that one's not legal, but the player competing at the breakdown has to be legal. Otherwise, players look to take it into their own hands by clearing players dangerously if they're allowed to cheat over the ball by lying on top of the ball.
3 is 5.
Kvesic is clamped over the ball here. Dan Cole has got right in amongst it, and he's done a brilliant job for his team. Leicester come up with possession. Another threatening field position set up by Henry Slade, but Cole
23.
making an absolute menace of himself.
I'll say one thing, Leicester's line-out defence today has been really good, especially in that 22, where we know Exeter are so dangerous. Time and time again, they've repelled them, so definitely credit to them for that, for the work they've put in this week in stopping what we know is a huge weapon for Exeter.
Sam Ashton-Robinson is coming off, and that's to allow for the Tigers to have a functioning front row with Tom Youngs off the field. Jake Kerr, Scotland international, made his debut against Italy in the Six Nations a few weeks back. Straight into battle. Sandwich now between Genge and Cole. Up against Moon, Cowan-Dickey and Francis, that all-new Exeter front row. And a penalty to the Tigers. A small victory, but a significant one, potentially.
They have to start somewhere, and they need these small wins. They need to work their way up the pitch and start to apply more pressure to Exeter. We know they can score tries. We saw it in the first half, so even in more difficult circumstances now, down on the scoreboard, down a man, they have to somehow maintain that belief and that fight. Just try and get some points on the board and see where that takes them in the remaining 20 minutes of the game.
Here's Kerr, picking out Fitzgerald. Forward brings in O'Connor. White, did he draw the penalty? The offside line was very suspiciously being negotiated by the Chiefs back division. Forward again for Williams. Kvesic again, very quick, suspiciously fast off the line. Tamua once more over the top. Johnny May is there, taking on Woodburn. Kerr again. Francis quickly up, and this time assistance from this touch judge on the near sides.
I think it's assistance from about 10,000 touch judges on this near side.
To set them offside, Jack, yeah?
Yeah, they've all gone early.
And forward goes deep, but he hasn't found touch. He's found Cordero. A flash of luminous orange and yellow, and he's away.
You've run across him.
But there was blocking.
You've run across him. You've looked and you've run across him.
Tigers want to go quick. Ford holds on to it.
I think that.
Kerr for Tamua, picked off by Knoll. Jack Knoll's gone. Call off the dogs. Knoll is in for try number 7. And Exeter running riot at Welford Road. 50 up.
Oh, massive. Leicester just throwing everything they can, gambling on everything, and Noel knows that. He's been high in the line all game. He's been trying to block out that easy access to the wide channels and make them go over the top of him a couple of times. We've seen interceptions in that outside channel now, and Tamua just doesn't get the elevation. And once he's in behind, even Johnny May isn't going to get there with all Jack Knoll's pace, and he's going to enjoy that all the way to the line.
It's almost a bit of cat and mouse. You know, the attacker knows that space is out there. The defender knows it's there as well. But we've seen this afternoon, particularly on Jack Knoll's wing, is that he's putting himself in a position where he's challenging the ball player's decision-making, and he's almost tempting him to throw that ball over the top. And Tamua got away with a few in the first half. On this occasion, Knoll in the right place, picks it off, and he's away to the races. 52 points.
52 points to 20. And some changes are being made. Mike Williams is coming off now for Leicester, replaced by Guy Thompson. And that's it for now. This, by the way, only the second time that Leicester have conceded 50 here at Welford Road in the league. Saracens, the other team, back in September of 2011.
No, second attempt.
Picked up well by Armand, who's
The
then
armpit,
held by
play on.
Spencer.
Stay there.
Maunder is on at scrum half for the Chiefs. There he is, delivering the ball to Ewers. Slade, caught by Fitzgerald this time, flings it out in the back of the hands. A little bit too flamboyant, that one. Everything else has worked, so why not?
Well, when you're 52 points up and you've got 2 tries in the bag, you'll try anything, won't you? And more often than not, that would probably come up for him.
Let's have a word with Rob Baxter, the director of rugby for the Exeter Chiefs. Rob, you must be thrilled with particularly the way you've responded in this second half to the kind of late challenge back end of the first 40.
Yeah, I mean, our endeavour to play rugby has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think we're probably all here in the coach delighted with our work one side of the ball when we've got it in our attack, and probably a little frustrated and kind of was a little annoyed with ourselves for our work without the ball, because we've certainly kind of got a few things wrong consistently in the game with some of our spacing, some of the way we've chased rucks to the edge, and that's hurt us when they've changed direction. But we've worked with that and conceding quite a few relatively soft points, but we've always been strong enough to come back and fight back and look for the next score. And I've got to give the guys an awful lot of credit for the way they've dealt with the pressure that Leicester put us under at the end of the first half.
Rob, you spoke in the week about motivation for your side because of the league situation, as we see Ben White pull forwards, chasing after it is May. Slade is back and touches down carefully. Sorry, Rob, just to return to this very briefly. The issue of motivation for your guys, has it been a challenge to try to keep them focused? It doesn't look that way today. They look hungry as ever.
I've got to give the guys so much credit. I mean, that first 3 or 4 minutes when we kept the ball and played in the way we did probably set the tone for the game for us, and we've stuck at that. Really, we've stuck at that in attack. We've worked extremely hard. Not everything has gone our way. I've got to give huge credit to Ollie Atkins, Sean Lonsdale stepping into the second role like they've done. Huge credit to the other 13 guys who've helped them step in there and run their roles as well as they've done. And I think that's probably shown, is the most pleasing thing for me today, is how we've dealt with this week, how we turned up, how we kept the ball, and kind of how we've gone for it, how we've looked like a team that's wanted to come here and win. And that's been the most important thing for us today.
And can I get a quick view from you on the Tom Young's red card? Clear decision?
I think, I'll be honest with you, I know Tom, and I don't think there's any way he's gone to attack Ollie's head there. I think the trouble is, particularly with how we know the rules are now, I think especially if you clear somebody who probably doesn't need clearing out, I think that's probably the thing that's gone against Tom more than anything else is Ollie's on the floor and moving away. He actually doesn't need to be played at all, does he? And I think that's counted against him more than anything else. There is contact with the head, but in another scenario, I think if Ollie was maybe getting up and was out of there and was being cleared out, it would be a different scenario.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
It's getting spicy out there.
That was kicked through by Green.
And one of the reasons, it seems to me, is that Tom Foley is allowing a little more and more at the breakdown, minute by minute.
The Chiefs have been outstanding at the breakdown all game, but that one there, I guess it's for the players, it's just that consistency between referees. So often we see, even if the clearance has been made and people are off their feet, the referee will say, no, it's been one, leave it. This time he allows Exeter to come through after the clear out. And I think that's what frustrates Leicester. It was before that instant there. This is just the afters after the turnover. Cole comes through, swings his foot through.
So, more changes. As we see the arrival of Richard Capstick, who's coming on for debuters, and Ian Whitten is also on the field. Henry Slade has made way. As Ewers coming off, Capstick making his Premiership debut at the age of just 19.
I've been telling you for a while.
There's Toby Salmon, who's still on for Ollie Atkins. Over. That wasn't straight. It's raucous out there. There's plenty of assistance for Tom Foley.
I don't envy him right now, to be honest. He looks cool, but I imagine underneath there's a lot of sweat going on.
Still quarter of an hour to play. Capstick in the blue scrum cap.
Bind! Set!
Ollie Atkins, we're hearing, passed his head injury assessment, but he won't be returning to the field.
Tom, just get 17 White to straighten up as well, please.
Guys, it needs to be stable. Guys, both of you straight. Both of you straight, it needs to be stable. Come on.
So this is another fascinating duel in the front row. Ben Moon up against Dan Cole, England teammates, of course.
All the way.
Slightly fresher Ben Moon than Dan Cole.
Yeah, a little bit.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
These are the battles. These are the ones you relish. Scrum penalty goes Tigers' way. And Tom Francis.
Changes bind.
How deep will Ford go? He went a little too deep last time and failed to make touch. This time he makes sure, but he's some way shy of the 22.
We've gone from there to there. Okay, ball's coming. Ball's coming. Where's the ball?
Just a bit of a change-up from Leicester. They've put Tamua just floating in behind, playing that 12 role. Oluwafela's gone into the fullback role to attack.
Lovely line-out ball from Kitchener. This is Guy Thompson, newly on the field. Tuolangi manhandling Kovacic. White. Spencer, how hard has he worked today? Again, sure, that's gone forwards in contact, I think.
He passed it.
Passed it forwards directly to the Chiefs, and Simmons sends that on its way. Woodburn sets off in hot pursuit. It's going to land for Cordero. Did that go backwards? Woodburn is off. And Woodburn will touch the ball down. Surely that went forwards a mile forward.
Has to have gone forward, has to. He's got to bring that back.
There's not even a debate on this one.
No.
See, the referee's quite a long way behind. He can't necessarily see, but...
Yeah.
He's right to play on. He's right to play on. If he can't see it, he knows there's probably going to be a try scored, but he knows he can come back and check it.
That's done, yeah?
Tamua making way for Gareth Owen. There's Owen, 30-year-old Welshman. Former Scarlets man. Work to be done in the remaining 11.5 minutes.
Come on.
Chiefs, of course, will secure a home semi-final
Listen to me. There's a lot of movement
with this bonus point win, if that's how it plays out.
So let's get closer, over the mark, so we're not putting too much weight through, yeah? Come on, up you come then, please.
Home semi-final secured with 4 rounds to go. Pretty extraordinary, isn't it?
It's impressive. They've been brilliant all season long, and I guess as we've spoken about today, the challenge is now to keep that momentum going. The job's not done. Brilliant, we've got a home semi-final, but ultimately we've got to go and win the thing. So keep the momentum, also find a way to keep the boys fresh as well, so that come to playoff times they are ready to go and ready to push to win this title.
Well, the Chiefs' front row are not getting too much change out of Leicester at the moment in the scrum. Another scrum penalty. It's 3 against the Chiefs now. And Ford sends it into touch, but just a little way beyond the 10-metre line.
Gone. Bring your feet up.
Still shortening the line out. Thompson in. That scrum off.
And there is Thompson feeding White, who feeds Tuolangi. Slips through the tackle of Kvesic, brought down by Joe Simmons. White hit by Capstick. Powerful surge here.
Let go.
White again for Cole, still running hard in the 70th minute. Kitchener again, the Chiefs questionable in their line speed. Tuolangi out of the back for Thompson, that was neat. And he tries to get the ball away. That may have come off Exeter. Taken early by the Tigers. Ford using Oliver Failer.
He's on the ball now.
Francis looking to affect the turnover, has to give up the fight. Ford again. Cole wasn't ready for it.
Just lost a lot of structure in the attack, not surprisingly with the speed that they played the line out, but a lot of the forwards almost waiting to react to George Ford rather than giving him options.
Sam Hill is feeding Kvesic. Here is Moon. They're on their way now through Salmon. Maunder for Armand. Cordero delivers the ball to Simmons. And Tuolangi does just enough.
It's just the difference in the Chiefs when they get an opportunity, they sense an opportunity, everyone's on the same page, they know exactly what they're doing. There's the turnover. And then they flood with support through every channel. So every time the ball gets moved into a different channel, look at the work rate of the players to get on the shoulder. Tuolangi does really well here with the power to hold on to that ball-carrying shoulder and drag Simmons into touch.
Right, their attack just lights up. It's like, it's a turnover, we've got the ball, there's gonna be space somewhere, and you can see your Corderos, your Woodburns, their eyes, they just say, give me the ball, get the ball to the space, and let's punish a team who look like they're starting to tire now. Their attack, Jay, they're just looking a bit lost.
Little dink over the top from Ford, that was glorious. Beautifully taken by Owen. Plenty of men to the outside. Oliver Feller cuts back in field. Screaming forward is Johnny May, who's hugging that left-hand touchline. And the ball has been ripped. And Jack Noel has it. And Manny Tuolangi is being bundled, which doesn't happen often.
Definitely not. I don't think I've heard anyone say that before.
He might have been off balance. Chiefs back in possession of the ball. Lonsdale sets it up. Simmons for Cordero. And this is the new man, Capstick, showing a good turn of pace. Brought down by Ford.
There is an offside line.
Pops it up for Moon. Simmons is there. It's very loose. And Witten is looking to exploit the holes. Noel, that look forwards.
Marginal, but definitely a forward pass, and great call by the assistant referee on the far side.
It's all action, isn't it?
It's so marginal. I mean, this is brilliant by George Ford again. He's tried, and There's acres of space in that backfield.
Look at Johnny May waving for it now. He knows he's in. It's a walk in with his pace. I know Jack Noel's coming across, but he absolutely will accelerate onto that ball. Just the wrong decision.
So that he does go long and low.
He's got to go left there, hasn't he? You know from where that kick has come from, all your support is going to be coming around from the outside. But then look at the work there, Jack Noel tracking back, strip, and next minute Exeter at 60 metres up the pitch again. End-to-end stuff.
It's all lift on.
More changes. We've got an all-new front row for the Tigers. Fitzgerald is off. He's been replaced by Papalangi. Jigenya at loose head for Genge, and Hayes for Cole. And that, I believe, is the bench emptied. With the Tigers at 14 men, of course. A lot of talk after the Premiership final last May about the Chiefs being a little one-dimensional, right at the very highest level. Saracens exposed that on the day. They say they had the dimensions and that they just made some poor decisions. But it's interesting to see the number of tries they've been scoring this season. 7 today, 69 up until today in the Gallagher Premiership. Do you think they've added enough, Topsy? If we cast our thoughts forward just a few weeks, it's hard to see them not involved in a Premiership final. They will certainly have a semi-final now at Sandy Park. Have they done enough to reduce that gap, if there was one, between themselves and Sarries?
I think time will tell. There's definitely been a development in their style of play and the way they're going about things. I think ultimately the proof will be in the big tournaments, in the semi-final and the final, and as maybe we've seen in Europe as well, is what they're doing enough now against those bigger teams, where they really want to be competing at the highest end against teams who will analyse them, who will have better, if not more quality on paper. Have they got enough in their armory to win those tighter games? That's going to be the challenge for this team. What they're doing at the moment is brilliant. So like I say, time will tell if they get to the playoffs, whether they can deliver the goods.
Out of the back again from Tuolangi to Oliver Fela. And they just can't hold on to the possession that they have at the moment. Nice pick up from Ford here. Tom Foley would like things a little more structured.
Right ball, that's all, we don't know.
Time to draw breath. And there haven't been many of those moments today.
No, it's been pretty breathless stuff, and I would say from a Leicester point of view, it's been a huge effort from them, and if you think how long they've been down to 14 men for, they have put a lot into this game. It's just that they've come up against the best team in the country, sitting top of the table at the moment, who are very ruthless and getting to the business end of the season. So a lot of heart, a lot of endeavour, but Exeter have just been the better team today.
It also shows the margins in this league. Leicester have played some good stuff, but they've been inaccurate, just a couple of % off at times, even in the decision-making in defence. And every time that's happened, they've been punished.
Armand did well there. Cordero. Now then, surely opportunities here. He's straightening, and he's half through. Picked up by Maunda. Noel, again, seeking out those holes. Cowan-Dickey for Moon. The tackle made by Thompson. Salmon. Maunda. Intercepted by Thompson. Hayes can't hang on to it.
He can't get out of the way. It's just Banks at his feet. We'll just have a scrum.
It's basketball now.
Well, it's just lost its structure of the game, hasn't it? Leicester know they've been well hammered this afternoon, so just trying to play anything, ignite anything they can, and as a result, not going through those initial phases that sometimes you have to do to tie in defenders. People stationary when they get the ball, making mistakes.
Crunch! Bind! Set!
better from the Chiefs pack, who've been under pressure at scrum time. O'Connor scrambles the possession. Sam Hill sends it on to Cordero. Again, stop and go. And Gareth Owens clutching at thin air.
Rock, no hands! Hold.
Inside from Kovacic. Armand still powering onwards. The engine never stops. Woodburn, Cordero. Johnny May shadowing him, but you can't shadow this man. There are too many of them. Noel. Tigers chasing shadows at the moment. Simmons. Woodburn. Freeing up Cordero again, he's everywhere. Here's Moon.
What was there, leave it.
Kovacic.
No hands.
Hill. Looking to
Advantage
free
knock
the
on.
arms, it's been knocked forwards.
No
Hill
hands.
trying to pop it to
Just a
Cowan
knock
Dickey
on
as he hit the
advantage.
deck. And Leicester can regroup.
It's advantage over.
Ford gives it everything, down the middle, into plenty of space.
A lone chaser as well.
Jake Kerr's done well. He's done very well. Got it away to Simmons though, and this is Noel. Over the top, possibly forwards, certainly forwards. Time for your man of the match, Ben.
Well, there's plenty of Exeter players to choose from. Ollie Woodburn obviously has been outstanding. I think Kovacic for his work in the tight has been superb as well. Cordero's feet have grown into this open, expansive game. But for me, the man that's been the difference, Henry Slade. He kept Manu Tuolangi alongside Ollie Devotto quiet all game. His attacking flair has been brilliant. He's our Gallagher Premiership man of the match.
100th Premiership appearance today, and instrumental in so much of the excellent attacking work from the Exeter Chiefs this afternoon. As we were mentioning earlier, really rubber stamping his class on the domestic game as well as at the international level.
He has, and what a way to mark your 100th Premiership appearance with just a scintillating performance. He's been all action, and as we said earlier, over the last few years he's just grown and grown into the high-quality international player we're seeing now. And this Exeter team is he has such a huge influence. He's focal to a lot of the good work they do, both on attack and in defence. And again today, he's just been hugely instrumental in a big win for the Chiefs.
Looks like a fresh lid for the day as well.
Wow, you knew he was going to be on TV, so...
Thompson from the base this time. White looking for options. Johnny May's offering himself.
Ball is out.
And the ball is there to be won, and won it is. This time by Capstick.
It's that intervention from Kovacic again,
No, leave it now, stay there.
making Leicester panic on the floor, roll the ball back.
Armand sends it wide for Witten. Woodburn's on the chase. Very fine tackle from George Ford, dislodging the ball. And Leicester will have the scrum with less than 30 seconds remaining. So the questions from here on in with the Tigers. Newcastle at Kingston Park on Friday. Improvements made today, certainly with the momentum that they gained in that first half at times. Their drive, their extra line speed, their urgency in much of what they were doing, Topsy, but still well short of the league's best.
They are, and this is a hugely impressive Exeter team. I think when Tigers will look at this, they actually created a lot of opportunities, but the difference has been in their accuracy and taking those opportunities and being clinical with what they create.
Tigers run in, Newcastle away next Friday night, live on BT Sport. Bristol at home, Quins away, Bath at home. Chiefs don't need to worry about that kind of nonsense. They can rest players heading into their semi-final potentially, should they want to.
Oh, that's a much nicer place to be.
Ben White to the short side, Capstick is there waiting. Clock's in the red. And that'll do. Well, that had just about everything. 9 tries in total, a red card, a ton of drama, and Exeter secure a home semi-final with 4 rounds to go. And perhaps more significantly, they have left the Tigers fighting still for their Premiership survival. Still 10th, 4 rounds left, Newcastle away next. Full time at Welford Road, Leicester 20, Exeter 52.
Well, we knew today was going to be difficult for Leicester with Exeter coming into town, so the challenge was always going to be the same for next weekend, regardless of how this game went. So they did create a lot in the first